Hello, gotta turn this off before I get dinged. Oh, no. There we go. Howdy, howdy, everybody. Oh, goodness. Been one of those weeks, hasn't it? Oh, hope everybody's doing okay. Oh, I don't know what everybody else's weather is, but Texas is bipolar again because we've been running the air conditioner. I swear, it was just like 2 or 3 days after we froze over. It was like we were using the air conditioner. One day it was 80 something. In February. It happens, but it's unusual. Let me know where you guys are from if you're new. I don't usually have too many new people when I do StreamYard because I'm not in the shorts. I have way too many bottles of water sitting here. 1, 2, 3. I need to drink them. CO Belf is here. What's up? I love your icon. That's cool. Hey, Cinderella. How you doing? I knew I only needed a few minutes before some people would pop in. So I was actually a little late. But I almost didn't come on. I was like, I do this every Friday, by the way. Or every time I do this, I'm like, a couple hours before, I'm like, I'm tired. I don't know. And then I get on and we have a great time. So I always tell myself that. I'm like, just go on. You'll love it. It'll be fine. But that's my little two people in my head arguing with each other. How's y'all's weeks been? So, Bill, where do you, Cinderella, I know you probably told me. What state are you guys from? Just curious. But I still haven't been able to put my thing on because I haven't been out. Hey, Eric. Culver City's in the house. How you doing? You might hear the heater come on and off. I know we had the AC on yesterday. We have the heater on today. Iowa. Oh, wow. You get cold. I drove through Iowa. I drove through a lot of states. I've never actually visited very much. Yeah, I'm going to ask that a few times throughout. Oh, I didn't bring my notebook. Darn it. I'll probably go get it. I need anybody that has traveled internationally. I need tips because I wasn't even thinking. I'm going to Google it. There was one guy. There's a lawyer that I watch out of Korea that goes over Korean news, like if BTS or other K-pop is in the news, he'll break it down in like 5 minutes. Well, he gave me some excellent advice about traveling to Korea. And one of those things was now he was talking about visas. I'm not getting a visa. We're one of the countries that they allow to just come in and visit. And I think you can visit up to 90 days without a visa. He was more talking about visas, but just in case, I'm going to fix it. He said, if you have a YouTube channel, make sure you hide it because if they find out, they could deny you entrance because they don't want influencers hanging out in their country. Obviously, what they've had to go through, I don't blame them. So before I go, I'm going to figure out how to do that. Now, he said, just make sure it's not listed in Korea. I'm like, well, it's not. It's listed in the United States. So I was kind of confused about that. So I'll have to figure that out a little more. And he told me how to go in the settings and things like that. So the thing I didn't think about was the adapters. And it just so happened I was on Amazon for something else. And a adapter was at the top for a European adapter. You know how they listen to us. Why would there be an international adapter in the suggestions on my phone? Yeah, they listen. I also learned how to disable some of that on my phone. I just haven't gotten to it. Prank streamer. Yep. Prank streamers ruin it for everyone. Oh, let me put the comments up. How do I do that again? One of these days I'll figure this out. Comments. Show comments on stage. There it is. There we go. I know. Did you hear what happened in Japan recently? I was all ready to go to Japan. I've been following YouTubers over there for a while. She popped in on a short. An international, she didn't say who, visitor defecated in public. I think on the train, but I'm not sure. And I'm just like, oh my God. The whole reason I want to go to Japan is to get away from that kind of stuff. They're polite. The place is mostly clean. And the streamers, the Japanese people, they say, don't think they're actually being kind. They're being polite. I'm like, I'll take fake politeness all day long. I'll take it. I don't care. But I think and if you just learn a little bit of their language, which I'm going to try to learn some Korean, they're happy that you even try, some phrases. I just want to learn some phrases that'll help us out. Now, Tom was stationed in Korea. He doesn't remember much. Hajiba, I think, is like Miss Ma'am is like ma'am, because they had an older lady, I don't know how old she was. She would come out to the field with like a cart and cook them up stuff, and she would let you have a tally. They call it something in a bar, a tab. She would let you have a tab, and then she'd come around on the first and get what you owe her. And I was still wearing masks from COVID in Korea. Well, Koreans, yes. That's the other thing I like about Koreans and Japanese. I don't know if other Asian countries do it. They've always worn masks. If they're sick in any way, they will wear a mask for everyone else. And we did that in an office that I worked in I got sick in 2010, so I quit working then. So it was before that. We were always sick all the time. And we had 5 desks in this tiny office, smaller than my living room. Yep, smaller. My living room's like 15 by 15. And it was smaller than that. And we had this dude that would hack and cough and never cover. He was the only guy. The rest of us were women. Well, this was after I had to train everybody on my job, because I was the only one that knew how to do my job up front, because I was by myself. And so when I went in for surgery in 2006, I had to train everybody. So what we did is we rotated. So a couple of days a week, I would go to the back and somebody would go to the front, so everybody knew how to do the job. Well, we were at different desks all the time. So we finally started Lysol down the whole desk when we got there. And if you were sick at all, you wore a mask. Guess what? Everybody stopped getting sick all the time. So they work. Masks work. They may not work 100%, but they work, because I saw it work with just flu. So, and I have an autoimmune disease. And when I flew to California to visit my grandbaby a couple years ago, and my daughter, all my grandkids, on the way to California, everybody was wearing masks. On the way back, nobody was. So I didn't wear it because I didn't want to look weird. And somebody was coughing. I could hear him, and I ended up getting sick. So now, if I'm in an enclosed space, I'm wearing a mask. So, but yeah, the Koreans especially, and BTS, they're always wearing masks, but they wear them almost as an accessory. Sugar, always wearing a mask, or it's under his chin, always. In pictures, they don't even, it's so common to them and so everyday that they'll pose for a selfie with the mask sitting under their chin and don't care. RSV is rampant in USA during COVID. There were no cases of it. Oh, I think I know what that is. Yeah, makes sense. So the saying that no masks or masks don't work at all, I disagree with. Do they prevent it altogether? Probably not. Plus, the kind of mask I never wore the N95 because I felt claustrophobic in it. I couldn't do it. And when in that office, We didn't think of surgical masks. We bought the dust masks for like when you're doing drywall, and it was just round. It was just, it wasn't anything special, and that's all we used, and it worked because it's enough to keep it when you cough to keep it from getting in the air. Also, dust. I'm allergic to dust, and they would come in every Friday and use the buffer in our thing. They didn't. I don't know if they swept first. They might have. While we're sitting there, and dust would make my throat close up. So as soon as I heard them coming, I would put that mask on. And Disneyland, seriously? In California, I've been there to Disneyland, but I would put that mask on and I'd be okay. But you know what? I kept thinking, they're buffing the dust around in the air and it's landing on us and our desk. It was gross. I wish they would, but they had to come. They couldn't come in our office after hours because it was sensitive and it had to stay locked. So they had to do it during the day. Matter of fact, Tom and our spouses used to come in the back door and hang out during lunch. And eventually somebody said, no, you can't do that. Our files are too sensitive. We could have got there. So I used to do reports in the front where customers would come in. And what it is, it's called the TCIC paperwork. And there have been cops that got fired for this. Their little computers in their car and the readout, that's the TCIC and the NCIC. I think, if I remember right, it's been a long time. Well, we had the same paperwork in our file. If any report that we did, if they did any kind of background check or something, and if they could just see the paper, not read it, if it was just visible, you could get fired. And cops that left it up in their car and they looked through the window and saw it, they got fired. Which is funny to me because right now, with all these people following cops, they're getting that on camera and nobody's getting in trouble. So I guess it just depends. But you can get in trouble for that. So, because I had to have, for that job, I had to have a background check, and they even checked my credit, which was awful, awful back then, which I was surprised they didn't. It was embarrassing. I'm surprised they didn't not hire me just for that. Actually, what was funny is they didn't do the background check till I'd been there like 2 years. It's like, oh, we need to do a background check. There goes the government for you. They hired me without it. I don't know. Maybe they did a quick one. I don't know. Maybe they were just doing another one. Hey, Mark, what's up? So, Journey, are you in Disneyland for real? That's fun. So it's like, that's 9:30 for you. Yeah, so my husband and I got married in 89. He had just gone from the reserves to active duty that April. Calls me up in July and says, I'm getting leave in 3 weeks. We're getting married. I was like, okay. Oh, cool. Disneyland, I liked it. It was small. It was smaller than I expected. It's very different from Disney World. So I was getting to that. So we didn't have a honeymoon. So I had a wedding. He thought we was going to go to the Justice of the Peace. Nope. We had it in my mom's backyard. The dress, the cake, the glasses. My mom built an arch in her tree with flowers on it. The only thing we forgot to do. And my mom redid her porch. She put steps directly out her sliding glass. We decorated the deck. And my mom lived out in the country. So on the recording where we're doing our vows, you can hear the cows mooing in the pasture behind us. So what we forgot to do, though, is as I walked out, she had a big yard. I walked out, and then I turned through the sets of chairs to the arch. When I turned around one of those green turtle sandboxes, and we forgot to cover it. So in my wedding pictures is this big green turtle sandbox. I was like, oh, whatever. The only thing we didn't get to do was invitations because I just called people up, told them it was casual. One of my stepbrothers showed up in a rock concert t-shirt and jeans. I got to carry documents. I had a clearance for 25 years. Supposed to take 3 months. I had mine in 2 days. Wow. Hey, Jay, how are you doing? Okay, yeah. Yeah. I had 2 clearances. I had a job where I had to theoretically have access to those databases, and they fingerprinted me. Yep, they did that. It made me take a class and everything, even though I never used it. Oh, well. Yeah, I forgot. Yeah, I did do the. Oh, and we were always having to do these online classes for online security and stuff like that. But God, y'all, you don't know how bad IT is in the military or in the government. It may be better now, but when we would get an update for, say, Windows, we wouldn't get it for 2 years. So, like, Windows 2000, we would get in 2002 because it had to go through all the channels and make sure there weren't any bugs and that it was good. Then it had to get trickled down to our IT people. Then they had to come in and put it on the computer. Our computers were so slow in a locked case. Wow. That's pretty cool. Yeah. I didn't have to take anything anywhere, thank goodness. But I did. So for a while, because most of these coins I got was working there. Because I did background checks during the war, for everybody on base, including the National Guard and reserve units that were there, getting their stuff ready and getting their background checks and get ready to go overseas. This just in, Bill took Grover to Disneyland, and the cast members tell him this isn't Sesame Place, and this is more details at 11. Eric. All right, Johnny, you go have fun. What I was getting at is we got stationed in California, and so we were there in 89 and 91, we went to Disneyland without our son because he was only 3. And that was our honeymoon in Disneyland. And we literally walked the whole thing in like 45 minutes. But it was fun. We had a lot of fun. Go to the place where this guy cuts out your shadow profile and puts it in a frame. That is the best thing we got. And he got a cowboy hat there for some reason. He still has it somewhere. But yeah, so that's what I was getting at. So we didn't really have a honeymoon. Then actually, I didn't get there till 90. He got there in 89 because he was already there. So I had to, because after we got married, I had to wait 8 months for government housing because we couldn't afford to live off base in California, even in 89. So 1990, and then in 91, we went to Disneyland and we drove from Fort Ord or Monterey, California to LA. I think it was 7 hours. Of course, speed limits were a lot lower then. And we got stuck on the outer belt for 3 hours because, all you had was paper maps back then. So we looked at the map, we memorized the route because I don't think we had a map. But the route we needed, Highway 5 to Anaheim to Disneyland, was closed. And we got there around 4 in the morning, and we're trying to and we're in my 65 Mustang. No AC. Was it stick? No. But it had issues with if you went too slow, it might die. We never did figure out what that was. So we're in my Mustang and trying to find a map. Just trying to find a gas station, which was impossible. Ended up in 7 a.m. traffic, gridlocked, because we finally got somebody to tell us how to get there. Oh, I know. I'm a Mustang person, so we had the 65. We ended up selling it for so much less than we paid for it because it stopped running after we got here. It was so funny because it didn't have seatbelts, and you had to have seatbelts on post. So Tom got a Humvee seatbelt and put it in the passenger seat, and that's where we put, or maybe it's in the back, our son's car seat. And we would, if you went in after a certain time at night, you showed your ID. It was during certain hours you could just go in. And we would just hold it up to the glass, and he'd go, "Where's your seatbelt?" And we'd go, "Lap belt," because of the car. We didn't have one on. We didn't have one for us. So I did all that driving with no seatbelt. I'm a fanatic about seatbelts now. So then we sold that for Christmas one year because we couldn't afford to fix it. It just hurts my heart. So 2007, I got a Mustang in 2007 because I always liked the 69 Mach 1s with the big front end. Well, we almost bought one, but in Santa Cruz, California, we drove up there to look at this immaculate mint condition 69 Mach 1. Problem was, I'm 5'2" and I couldn't see over the dash. And also, the guy was talking with us. This was a show car. He's like, we couldn't afford to keep it up. And he said, look, you guys, you can't afford to keep this car up. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. And I have to sit on a pillow. So we kept looking and we got the coupe. There's coupe and fastback and convertible. I don't like the fastbacks as much. I had a coupe. Well, the 2007 Mustang looked so much like the Mach 1. And then in 2009, they changed it. And everyone since then sucks. I don't like them. They're weird looking. And that's what they did to us. I think it was the 90s versions of the Mustang I hated. They got smaller, which the back seat's already tiny. My poor kids, but let me tell you a story about buying that 2007. So I had a home daycare for 8 years. I always had an older Suburban with like 8 or 9 seats and stuff. And so I always had mom cars. Well, my son was already in the Navy. My daughter was 16. She learned to drive in my Mustang. And I went in and I wanted a car that had all the bells and whistles. They sent me home with an Expedition for the weekend. By the time I returned it on Monday, my right knee hurt from the brake, from stopping that monster, because it was the XL with the extra foot in the back. Silhouette. Yes. The cutout Silhouette. Is that what you mean? Yeah. That was cool. We still have that. They did both of us together. And the guy took a pair of scissors like this and just took this black paper and went, and even got our eyelashes and Tom's mustache in the profile, in the Silhouette. So I was about to so I went in, I said, so we looked at the Ford, not the Focus, the Fusion with the heated seats and all the bells and whistles. And I'm literally about to sign the paper at the desk. And I look over and there's a black Mustang inside in the showroom. And I was like, doesn't that cost the same amount as this? He's like, yeah. I'm like, we need to test drive that. I love my Mustang. I had the pony package, the leather seats and everything. That thing was immaculate. Well, 2 years later, I got a shoulder injury at work. I will never have a workers' comp claim again. I've had 2. One in 1988, I'm sorry, and 2008. Because you're out of work for however long, and you only get a percentage of your paycheck, which put me behind on the car payment. We went home for a funeral. I had the money for the payment. I was keeping it under 30 days late. I was 32 days. Somebody wanted my car. Somebody was watching my car because nobody repos a car at 32 days late. We went to a funeral in Ohio and got back on like the 3rd, and the payment was due on the 1st. And my daughter comes yelling, Mom, they're taking your car. It was like midnight and they took my car. I was like, both times it ruined my credit. Even though the first time my car got totaled, it wasn't my fault and it was on the job. It still took 2 years to settle. I was out of work for 6 weeks, had to buy an old 74 4-door Nova for $350 that had bald tires, bad brakes. I had to put a new transmission in it. One night, my windshield wiper on the driver's side stopped working, so I had to drive like this. And my car was only a year and a half old that got totaled. But so what happened was they paid $6,000 on it. I owed $6,700, and I couldn't pay the $700 or the payments, and it ruined my credit because I was injured and out of work. Same thing happened the second time. Never. I fell at work, this job, twice in one day. I couldn't breathe right for 10 days. I'd hurt. The way I tripped both times was over something I didn't see. and I landed. I couldn't even get my hands in front of me. I just told my boss about it, and this was like almost a year. It was like last April or probably May or June, because I think it was warm. And I was like, I said, unless my arm is severed and you have to call an ambulance, I'm not doing a workers' comp claim. Not doing it. Because the thing about my shoulder was it took them 2 years, 2 years before, and they wouldn't do anything. They just kept throwing drugs at me and wouldn't do an MRI, wouldn't do anything. And when they finally said, we're done, we're not doing anymore, and I went to my own doctor and my own insurance, they fixed it. They gave me a steroid shot and all the pain was gone. I still need surgery, but I was so mad. So mad. That workers' comp claim ruined my life. That's it. That started the stuff that happened that made me get fibro. It's a long story. My dad had a 72, Pontiac Ventura back in the 70s. It had the same body style as the Nova. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Too bad mine was a 4-door. I would have kept it, but I mean, that's what you did back then. There weren't no inspections or anything. I had a friend that bought a car, I think for $1, or he got it free. I don't remember what it was. It was old. And literally it sat like this, or I can't remember. And where the strut should be was like wires. They wired this car together. And he was just happy to have a vehicle, when you're 16. Tom, his first car was a 78 Caprice Classic, all green, snot green interior. That was a good car though. Like that car. He would get in, somebody hit him in the rear quarter panel, and he kept a mallet in the trunk, and he just got out and pounded it out. Because they ran. It was a hit and run. My first car actually was a 66 Custom 500, which is the same thing as a Galaxy. My great-grandmother gave it to me. She was the only owner. She gave it to me when I was 16, and it sat for about a year and a half till I could get it on the road and get it registered and I didn't get my driver's license until I was 17. Just because I didn't want to take the school class because it was literally a whole half a year, I think. But you could go to driver's school. It was 3 days in class and 3 days driving. Well, for Christmas that year, my ex-stepdad, who we were still friendly with because he raised me, he gave me money for Christmas, and I used it towards my driver's license. So I got it on the road for 2 days. It was so big, I had to sit on a pillow to drive. It had the same original paint job, which I took it through a car wash, and it bled. It was maroon. It bled red in the water because the paint job was oxidizing and deteriorating. But I mean, she cut, and it only had, I got it in 86, 20 years old, had 66,000 miles on it. I was dumb. I didn't understand old cars. I should have kept it. It died after 2 days. Some hoses on the radiator blew, and it needed brakes. It wasn't a big fix at all. But, I'm young and I just don't want to deal with it. So, the following year, we traded it in, my senior year, my birthday, we traded it in on a new Dodge Colt little cool red car, which I love. We only got $400 for it. Oh man, now I could kick myself. There was nothing wrong. My great grandmother, she gave it to me. She finally decided she couldn't drive anymore. I think she was like 94. When she was 92, this woman got in that car with a broken arm, drove herself to the emergency room, got a cast, and drove herself home. So for her to say she can't drive anymore, it was a big deal. So I also regret, I'm into genealogy a lot now. I regret not talking to her more and getting more information because I don't know, we didn't really have a relationship. She was my dad's grandmother, and my grandmother would take me over, and we would just sit on the couch with the plastic and chat for a little while. And it was an old people's house, and I felt weird when I was little, so I never went over on my own, and I feel bad about doing that. Was a two-door. Yeah, that's good. My mom almost bought a Toyota. Oh, my dad had an MR2, too, but she couldn't reach the pedal, so we bought a silver 89 Toyota Tercel sedan two-door. My mom had a 69 Mach 1 for a little while, but it was kind of old and broke down, so I think she ended up getting an Impala. That thing didn't have a tailpipe, and if y'all know, I grew up with smokers that smoke 2 packs a day, and I'll probably get lung cancer, and I've never smoked myself. And in the winter in Ohio, you're begging to crack the window so you can get some air. So I had her smoking, and I had the exhaust coming up into the back seat. I'm surprised. It probably killed some brain cells. I probably lost brain cells in that car. I was like, oh my gosh. Oh, my grandmother, her mom had a 65 or 66 Mustang too when I was young. Same color, white. Oh, and my son, so the Mustang was loud, had a V8 engine and all that. And my son called it, how old was he at the time? 2, maybe. Oh, he was 3. He was 3. Wait a minute, 91, 88, 89, 90. Yeah, 3. We didn't take him with us to Disneyland because we thought he was too young to remember it. Because I went to Disney World when I was 5 and I never remembered it. Did I say Disney World? I meant SeaWorld. SeaWorld. I never did remember it. So I thought, that's why we were doing our honeymoon. So we got a babysitter. We only went for like 3 days. I got sidetracked again. What was I talking about? Right out the window. Oh, what he called it. He called it the engine car because it was loud. Are we going in the engine car? I'm like, yep. And these dumb soldiers on base would wait. You're driving down the road. We drove it here. And they would literally wait till you got there and step off the road. Nowhere near a crosswalk. So what Tom would do is if they did that, he would throw it into neutral. He'd be stopping, but he'd hit the gas and go, vroom, vroom, and they would almost pee their pants because they thought they was going to get run over. Photo of my parents' Tercel. Oh, go ahead. Yeah. My 86 Suburban that I bought for my daycare, the 2-tone cream and brown. I love that car. Loved it. But it sat for a few years. I mean, we did everything. We finally dropped the gas tank because it would get gas and die, get gas and die. We changed the carburetor. My husband drops the tank, and it's a hose that was free. Didn't even cost 10 cents. There was a hole in a hose. And it sat in Texas long enough to dry rot a lot of the interior. It was a cream interior. Because what I had done when I had daycare is I had cut carpet remnants because the carpet, this thing was in immaculate condition when I bought it. An older couple used it to tow their camper, and that was it. There was never anybody in the back seat. So I cut all this carpet remnants and put it all over the carpet. So because the kids were always getting in muddy and stuff. Hold on. Let me bring up my email. The Google. The Gmail. Let's see if I'm in the right Gmail. I'm not. There we go. There you are. Oh, I remember those. Let's see. Let's see if we can bring that up. Hold on. There we go. Oh, I remember those square cars. I remember those. Oh my goodness. Yep. Remember those. What year was that again? He told me. 72 Pontiac. No, that's Ventura. 89. Yep. My Dodge Colt was an 87. And it was very square like that too. That's cool. Okay, too many emails. I was gonna. Make sure I'm not sharing that. Okay, I'm not. Let's see. I want to see. I'm looking in my Facebook photos, see if I can find. We didn't have a lot of photos of albums. Family. There's me sitting in it, but you can't see it. Oh, cool. I found it. My Disneyland picture. Hold on. Share. Share the screen. Isn't that cool? This guy did that in like under a minute. And he got our eyelashes, his mustache, and the hat he just bought. And I love that. I hope she gets that. I hope she heard me say that. Am I caught up on comments? So. Oh, I lost. There we go. That was so cool. I showed you guys my motorcycle last week. Let's see. If I have a picture of me sitting in the Mustang, but I don't know. We took a lot of. We had a video camera. We took a lot of. How do I get out of this album? I don't know. There we go. Let's see. Me. Yeah, no. It's probably in Tom's photos. Cover photo, grandbabies. High school. I don't think I'm my car. No, I'm still just sitting in the car. Darn. And you know what's weird though? I didn't see, after a few years, I didn't see those on the road. Like older ones on the road. So I guess it didn't last long. Family, me. I looked under me on family already. Let me see if I can find Tom. Because he has more pictures in his stuff. Personal details. Tom. I'm supposed to be able to click on him. There we go. Yeah. He has different pictures than I do. Photos. Here we go. Photos. Oh, he's got a lot of Iraq photos. If you want to see Uday's palace, Tom, his first tour, they lived in Uday's palace. That was creepy. That guy was a monster. I found out recently how bad it was. And Tom crawled around in sections that had been blown up. He wasn't supposed to take pictures. I said, oh, thanks. So you could have got crushed by debris. That's always smart. Holy crap, this guy has a lot of photos. Oh, that's so cool. Tom built lofts in both the bedrooms when the kids were young because they were small bedrooms to give them more play space. I didn't think we had pictures of them, but we do. Holy moly, he has way too much stuff. Oh, there's my dad. Wow, I gotta move some of these pictures to my profile. The only picture I have of my red car is me just sitting in it. You can't see it. I could fill that car for $8. Okay. I'm back. I was just trying to see if I could find a picture of the Mustang. I think the only picture I have of the Mustang, I think we have one somewhere. I think we have video. I've got to dig those videos out. Hopefully they haven't deteriorated and get them put on DVD. I haven't done that. What was y'all's first car? Whoever's in the here. We talked about this before. It's fun talking about all our old cars. And then I think, and then Tom, his senior year, he bought a small car. It was a 4-door Pontiac Sunfire. It was a piece of crap. I will never own another Pontiac. Yours was probably fine, but for some reason they had aluminum heads. We had to put a new engine in that car. It blew again. Then it sat, and then we gave it to his niece. They put another engine in it, and it blew. So it went through 3 engines. So I will never have a Pontiac that has aluminum heads. They do not last. 69 Mercury Comet for her first car. My dad had a 62 Dodge Lancer. Wow. Oh, when I was young, my mom had I think it was Pontiac Cougar. And the only reason I remember that car, when I was 5, there had been some side damage to the passenger door. We didn't wear seatbelts back then. We're leaving the apartment parking lot. Thank God, we were only doing like 5 miles an hour. The door flew open and I almost fell out. My mom grabbed me. It's the only reason I remember that car. And then, of course, my stepdad was a semi-truck driver, so we always had semis in the driveway. And he was a mechanic, too. I'm trying to think what cars we had a Pontiac Bonneville that was dark green. It ended up sitting in the yard for a while, and then it died. I used to play in it and think I was driving. Well, I am so glad they have gotten away from matching the interior to the exterior, because I didn't like the blue. I hate the color blue unless it's really dark or really light. Medium blue, I hate. Some baby blue is okay. And that was what they did with the interior. It was like this weird medium blue. Ugh. And then if it was green, it was green inside. If it was maroon, it was maroon inside. The maroon was okay, but I'm glad we've kind of went to just either black, gray, or tan for the most part on interiors. Maybe brown if you're doing brown leather. I'm like, because I love the gray or the black interior. Although black interior in Texas really sucks. So, has anyone here traveled internationally or know somebody? I'm going to come back on here one night, and the title's going to be Help Me Out with My Trip. And 69 VW Hot Yellow, my second. Before we bought the Mustang, when we first got, so I had bought, when my Nova died, I bought a 74 Toyota. It was sporty. I loved it. It was a stick shift. I can't remember the name, but it had a big front end, and I ended up hitting something right before I went to California, and it was rusty and the strut went up through. I wish I would have just got it welded. It was a good car. I paid $750 for it. That was a lot. The guy let me make payments, which was nice. So when we got to California, we didn't have a car. And this lieutenant sold us a 66 Volkswagen Bug for $800. Let us make payments. And somebody had Celica, 74 Celica. It was a Celica. Thank you. So it had been lowered. The front end, the front piece, because the engine's in the back, was fiberglass. I don't know why they did that. And the steering wheel was small. It was really tiny. And there was a button in it that served no purpose, but if you didn't turn it off, it would drain your battery. We have no idea what it was. An extra thing that somebody installed. I have no idea what it's for. Probably nitrous or something. I don't know. And we didn't. Right around the time we paid it off, we paid $100 a month for 8 months. We bought a 1990 brand new Hyundai Accent, I think. And back then we were in Monterey, California, and that was when air conditioning was optional. Like, we're in California, it's fine, we don't need it. 2 years later, We ended up in Texas with no air conditioner. Yeah, that sucked. We got here in August one year, went through the next summer. That Thanksgiving, Tom got promoted. XL. Yes, the Hyundai XL. 2-door, which was a pain with kids, but it was cheap. We were looking at the Bronco, a used Bronco that was digital. We thought that was cool. That was new. I kind of wish we'd have got that. But that Hyundai served us well when we were driving from California to Ohio almost every year to visit family. Man, that thing got good gas mileage. We traded it in on a year-old Ford F-150 when he got promoted. We had that car for 12 years. Or that truck. Love that truck. It's funny because it's the same color as the one we have now. Red. Dark red. So I say my first car was the Dodge Colt, but it really wasn't. It was the 66 Custom 500. That's the picture I was looking for. And I thought I was looking for that too. I thought I had one. I took a picture of it when... Where'd Facebook go? I took a picture of it at the dealer as I was trading it in. Man, I regret so bad trading that in. But at the time, I didn't. That thing was so big, you could put 6 people inside and 6 people in the trunk. And I added these fun buttons to it that had like the booster engine and something else. It didn't do anything. They just stuck on there and they were funny to look at. Oh, there's pictures from when we went to Disneyland. Huh. Reels. I've never done reels. I don't know what that is. That's weird. Where? I swear I'm missing pictures in here. This isn't all my pictures. Might be. Your photos. Let me try that. Oh, these are all probably pretty recent. Huh? Oh, these must be from like... Oh, there's our dog Rex. We didn't have him very long. There's Petunia when she was a puppy. I didn't even know I had these. Oh, there's my chickens coming in the house. We had chickens. They love coming in the house. They were so weird. Oh. Ooh. There's when we bought the truck. And our puppies. Lots of puppy pictures. Oh, my grandbabies. Oh, my poppy. Oh, I didn't know I had these. This is so cool. I'm not a big picture taker. So there's a lot of stuff that I don't have because if we're doing any kind of event, I'm like, Tom takes the pictures. Y'all know me. I'm a scatterbrain. I can't keep focused. So if it's like Christmas, I'm handing out the gifts. He's taking the pictures. Because I just can't do it. So I think this is from my Google Photos. Which is all going to be, it's not going to be old enough to find what I want. My son and my husband both used their GI Bills and went to truck driving school at the same time a few years ago. There's pictures of that. A lot of high school stuff. Holy crap. This must be stuff I've saved from other people's, like, because I know I didn't take these photos. Must be people on Facebook I downloaded. Oh my gosh. I got to show you this one. This is funny. So, email of this. Okay. I'll check it out. Real quick. So, this was me. So, I'm looking for my glasses. all over the place. And this is when I just used reading glasses. I had like 10 pair all over the house. I finally found a pair, not the ones I was looking for. And look at the picture. What do you see? Figured out where my glasses went that I was looking for. They were on my head the whole time. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I'm an idiot. I can't help it. No, I don't want to leave sight. Ooh, that would be bad. That would end real quick. Let's see. Yeah, mine was a 4-door, but yeah, this was it for sure. Let's see. Yeah. So, yep, that's what mine looked like. Only mine was 4-door and maroon. So, and it was with 4-door, it made it even longer. Yeah, I know. The whole time I was looking for my glasses, they were on my head. I know, it's so silly. So, yeah. Let me see. I'm going to see if I can find Ford Custom 500 66 1966 maroon. See if I can find one. Images. Oh, that's my car. Oh, there it is. That doesn't look quite right. Mine was more square than that. Oh, that's it. Ooh. Oh, this guy. Wait, what? Project car. Okay. Where's the end result? Okay, that didn't work. Hang on. Let me find a better picture. That was somebody's Facebook, and it was weird. I should have put 4-door. Getting all the 2-doors. Is that 66? Oh, that's an actual Galaxy. But it was the same car. I'm just, you know how they make 2 cars, same car. You know what? I'll just share this one. It's small, but so the one on the right there, that was my car. Where it's sitting, I'd actually thought about tracking it down. So I think I have some paperwork on it. I can relate glasses. I know. And then now when I'm doing the computer, the problem is I have to go from my regular glasses to these. And at work, I have a little handkerchief and I lay them when I'm switching. When I'm sitting at the desk looking at cameras because it's far away, I can't, because it's a whole screen of cameras. If I wore these, I would be like this all night looking through my bifocals. So I have to switch to these like I do here, but I'm doing it all night long, which is a pain in my behind. But, oh, wrong ones. Can't see. Ugh, there we go. You know, I didn't need glasses till I got fibro. I went from the guy, I wanted glasses. I had glasses, but because I had 20/25 vision, but it was mostly for computer work, so that I got them tinted. Well, then I went to a different eye doctor, and he said, I'm not giving you glasses. Go get readers. And I'm like, but they weren't tailored to my eyes. I hated readers. They were never quite right. These, so I had this last time when I got these, I got computer glasses made. Well, I got to go to an eye doctor and get them both replaced because they screwed up my eye exam. I still don't see right through these. And I told her my readers were 1.25. When she read 3 point something, she should have said something to me. I don't know how to read the printout. So I get the glasses and they don't work because they're too strong. I'm like, how did you get 3 something out of 1.25? And it was an extra exam, and I still got out 5 minutes before Tom did. We both went in. They had 2 eye doctors. We both went in at the same time. I had an extra test. I come out 5 minutes before him. What she did is she did it too fast. Because there was times where, they're flipping it and they're like, is this good? Is this good? If I said I don't know, she said she went on. She just took whatever that was. I don't know what her deal was, but she did it too fast. The time I went 3 years to get glasses because of the fact that the last time I went to an eye doctor, they screwed it up because we were still wearing masks. And it was fogging up the eye exam thingy, the lenses. And we figured it out on the second eye. He wiped it off, finished the exam. He never went back and redid the first eye. I get my glasses. I'm like, what is going on? So I went back and redid the eye exam. I'm like, so I've had 2 bad eye exams in a row. I do not trust doctors. Eye doctors. Dentists have the only ones that haven't screwed me over yet. But the people in the front office did. Didn't never go to Aspen Dental. They lie. It's a chain. They're everywhere. Don't go there. I'm still considering taking them to court. I don't know what the statute of limitation is for small claims court. I'm going to check it. Matter of fact, I really want to because they were misleading and lied. So, and that's why my teeth are crooked. My teeth were not this crooked when I started. So they give you this whole list of a plan. Well, we're going to do this. We're going to do this. We're going to take these teeth out. We're going to do implants. And then we're going to do Invisalign braces. I'm like, oh, that's cool. And then they go, well, this is how much your copay is for your insurance. And it was $5,000 a piece. We're thinking that's going to cover everything that they just told us, right? So, I'm sorry, it's Invisalign, then implants, because you had to get the teeth all right before you could put the implants in. Well, we can get you a loan. So she gets on her computer and she goes, oh, I got you approved for $14,000. We're like, okay, fine, let's do it. So we get the Invisalign, and I go in for something that was on that list. They never said anything to me, told me how much it was going to cost, nothing. I get a bill for $1,500 in the mail. First of all, our Care credit card, and that's another thing. They said, let's get you a loan. We didn't know it was a credit card until it came in the mail. We got Care credit. So that was the first lie. The second lie was that $5,000 was just for the Invisalign. And that was it. So they never said anything about my bill. I get a $1,500 bill in the mail. And I'm like, duh? And I didn't go back, never got the rest of my Invisalign, never got the retainer that you wear at night. And because they had been moved, they've moved and gone more crooked than when I started. See all this? My teeth were not that crooked. I had this one tooth that was kind of out of whack because I have a small mouth and they were kind of close together. They were not that crooked. So I'm still thinking about taking them to smoke. It's been 3 years, I think. So I go to a new dentist, and guess what they do? Before they do anything, you go up to the counter and they show you your bill, what you're getting done, and how much it's going to cost. I'm like, But the Care credit has, covered us a few times because we can use it for the dogs at the vet. When my Poppy had to go to the emergency vet in Austin and she was in a oxygen box, they were trying to figure out how to save her from this lung disease that just appeared. She never acted funny until she couldn't breathe. But eventually they couldn't get her to be able to be out of the oxygen box, so she couldn't live like that. Honestly, I was willing to do it. I was willing, but it wouldn't have been good for her. I was willing to, we could have figured out a small oxygen tank for her. and she was comfortable, I would have done it. But they didn't come up with anything like that. So, well, you guys, I just wanted to jump in here and say hi to y'all. Just because I can't go to Austin right now, because if you guys weren't here last week, Tom's car died. We had to tow it because we carpooled that day because I was working extra. What sucks is we both drive a 2-hour round trip to work, but I go in at 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. and he goes 10 to 6. So we literally are driving home together, usually talking. He'll be like, look out for this guy. Or if one of us is in front of the other, oh, there's a slowdown. That kind of is weird. But I was working 10 to 6, so we carpooled. We got 2 exits from our house, and his truck was running funny. We've already put a new engine in that thing. It's almost 20 years old. I think it's 18 years old. And I said, look, we can go back home and get my truck right now, and we won't be late. No, it'll be fine. The next morning, we got about 20 miles from work, and the radiator blew up. And it was $240. That was our part to tow it home. If he would have listened to me, we would save $240 because we were 42 miles from home. So we called roadside assistance through our insurance, and they only cover the first 10 miles. So I think it saved us like $40 or $50. So because we're going on this trip, we can't even afford to take it in and have the mechanic look at it before we go on the trip. So poor guy, we're carpooling on the weekend, and he has to go in 4 hours early. Luckily, where he works, if there's customers there during the day. So at night, there's a mother's room with a couch, and he goes in there and takes a nap. I'm like, lucky. There's nowhere for me to do that. Or he messes around, does something else. He did, which I almost fell out of the car when I was sitting there, and I said, if you'd have just listened to me, we could have saved $240. And I wasn't like being loud or mean or bitchy like normal. When it's something big, he goes, yes, I know. I should have went back and got the truck. I was like, I looked at him like this. I was like, he never apologizes. I was like, I just shut up. We didn't discuss it again. That's on top of the $500 he cost us last month. For being stupid. So, because I don't speed. And the biggest reason is I don't want to give them my money. And he's got a lead foot. And he got a ticket in a construction zone. It's costing us $500. For nothing. That was the $500 I needed for the cover for my truck bed that I wanted. So because all my protest stuff is taking up the whole inside of my truck. My wagon is in the front of the passenger seat. It's the only place I can put it. All my other crap, tripods, signs, everything's in the back seat. What year is his truck? Yeah. He has a 2008 Dodge Nitro. And we will never have Dodge again because we put a new engine in it 7 years ago. So it's 2026. So it's 18 years old. So it was 11 years old actually his engine blew before that. It sat. I don't even think it made it 10 years before we had to put a new engine in it. But I will not buy a new vehicle. I would rather it cost us around, we had a friend help us, a friend who was a mechanic, and we paid him like half of what a mechanic business would charge us. But it was still, we replaced all the stuff attached, all new. The engine was used, we got it on eBay. Around $4,500, which was way cheaper than a used car that we didn't know anything about. But I said, everything new. The only thing they didn't get new is they found a heater core, which is what blew in the first place, which blew the engine in the first place. They got it used because they checked it and said everything was fine. Well, it's been clogged ever since we put that engine in. So the heat doesn't blow. It spits some heat. Luckily, though, once you get on the freeway, it kind of helps the heat get in the car. But when it's cold, it's cold. You can't sit in that car in the cold. So when we had the freezing weather, I made him carpool with me because it was so cold. Or when it was his night, he would take my truck because he would freeze to death. If he ever got stuck anywhere, he'd freeze to death. But other than that, it's been pretty. We've replaced everything on that car. The front, I don't know what you call it, that holds the tires are on, and the rear, everything attached to the engine. There's only one thing mechanical we haven't fixed, and we won't say it out loud because it might go wrong. But it's the thing that you shift. Don't say it. And now the engine blew. Well, we're hoping. And what's funny is both of our radiators now have done that. Mine is just leaking. Matter of fact, he went out today to try to figure out. We've got to put a new radiator in it. Because of the cold, we think something cracked. We had the right coolant in there and everything. So literally, his truck blew up. We get the next night, we take my truck, and it's running hot. I'm like, oh, crap. I said, well, have you checked the fluids? He tried to check it while it was running. I'm like, no. So after it finally sat, he checked it. When he picked me up the next morning at work, he said, radiator's leaking. We need a new radiator. I'm like, oh. It's like everything happens all at once. Drives a Toyota. Yes, they are reliable and never have a problem. Yep. But any new car right now, though, the new, like right now, new, they build them so you can't work on them. And it makes me mad. Tom kept my 86 Suburban running. Oh my gosh. He was always working on it that last year. Always working on it until it only blew up because this woman pulled out in front of him and he hit her. And we even had a witness. And because when you have in the military, everybody has USAA. So both of us had USAA. They made it his fault. Do you know what they told us? Why? Because she was able to get straight. Because she was able to pull out in front of him and get straight. And I'm like, wait a minute. It's 45 miles an hour on that road. And she pulled out of the tilted kilt, which is a bar. I'm like, they should have done a DUI thing. They didn't. And then she slowed down. That was the thing. And we had a witness. And he didn't know that it had cracked the radiator and drove to work that night to Austin. Everywhere he's worked has been at least an hour drive. And halfway there, it blew up. And I wish we would have fixed it. But we scrapped it. I was so sad. That was in 2016. And it was an 86. So it was 30 years old. It was a good truck. It sat kind of low. I could park that thing like the Cadillac. This GMC truck, I still, 7 years later, cannot park that thing. If I can't get a handicap spot, I will go all the way to the end if I have to. And backing in, forget it. Not going to happen. Tom likes to back into the driveway. I don't. Can't do it. All right, you guys, I'm going to go ahead and go. But yeah, that's why I haven't been able to go to Austin. I was going to try to go during the day, but because I work nights, I was up all night and I didn't get to sleep until like noon today. So I wasn't able to go. So I've got at least, so I'm thinking last time his truck died, I rented a car for the weekend. We really can't afford it. But I think next weekend I'm going to rent him a car so I can go to Austin on Friday night because it's opposite directions. He goes an hour north and I go an hour and a half south to go to Austin. So there's no way I could even take him to work and drop him off. I couldn't make it. So that's why I haven't been out. We only got the one car. So I got to get over to the org though. I'm not doing my job. I mean, I'm doing a little bit, but I'm not doing what I need to be doing. So I need to get my butt. Oh, I know. Eric, you keep reminding me of that car. I really liked it. You know, did you hear me talk about how it? So this Palisade that I rented for a month because our truck was in the shop, it was self-driving. Now it didn't make turns like I guess the Teslas can do that, but you on the freeway you could set it, and it knew where other cars were. It would keep you in the lane and stuff. It was really nice. I ate a sandwich while I was driving. Didn't need my hands. It was awesome. But after a month, I was in my truck, and twice this happened. I'm coming up to like a stoplight, and people are stopped. I'm waiting for the truck to slow down and stop, and it didn't. I was like, "Holy crap! I forgot." It made me lazy, so I was like, But too many things that go wrong on that thing. Everything was electronic. It was ridiculous. So all I could think of was all the thing. I mean, it had cameras all the way around. It was really nice. I looked it up. I'm pretty sure this was the higher model. So it was around $54,000. And I was like, can't afford that. Nope. The GMC, when we bought it used, I think it was a little overpriced, but it was $16,000 used. And in our other truck, we got a year old, and we saved like several $1,000s just getting it a year old, and only had 13,000 miles on it. So I would never buy brand new. Also, I worked for a car dealership. Never buy the first year model of anything because they haven't had a chance to work out the bugs yet. And I even ignored my own advice and got a Honda Element the first year it was out. It had issues. For a down payment on a newer used car. No, because of this trip, or we would. So we thought about trying to buy a new car. We may have this check. We have a great mechanic that we trust now, but for many, many years, the problem with a military town, there's no word of mouth because you're here for a couple years and then you leave. So I got shystered a couple times by a mechanic. People I know got shystered. And so it sucked. And if we were back home, his brother-in-law had his own mechanics business. We could have had somebody we trusted. But being military, not knowing anybody. So we found this guy, and his name's Tom too, and he's really close by. So we really trust him. The reason is we bought it for $500. It was a great car. A 95 Mazda something, I can't remember. And my daughter's boyfriend, she let him drive it, and he rear-ended somebody. So we took it over there, and he came over here to look at it to see if we could fix it. And he said, "Look, it's going to cost you more than buying another car to fix this." I would still wish we kind of would have. He could have easily said, "Yeah, we'll fix it. It'll be $3,000 or something." He didn't. So ever since then, we've always used him. He's really good. He's got a small. And he's always pretty good about getting us in and diagnosing it. And he lets us buy the parts because I will tell you this, what mechanics do, because they did it at my dealership. They would buy the part and then they added 10% to it, to the part. Now they did get a little bit of a discount sometimes, but we were saving a little bit of money if we went and ordered the part ourselves, and he let us do that. So some mechanics won't. So he's really cool about that. Or he'll let us know if it's something we can wait on. Our white 2021 Toyota RAV4 was used at dealer. It was almost $28,000. Yeah, that's still high, but not too bad. For 2021, that's not too bad. Yeah. If I did buy a car, it would definitely be a few years old. But I'd rather buy a Class C motorhome. But we've got to figure out, he never did tell me what he figured out on the radiator. Because a new radiator is not that expensive. Let me see what he said. Let me call him on the phone. I'm just curious. Because I was asleep when he left. So I don't know what he figured out. I hope all we need is a new radiator. Now with his truck, we just don't know. It might just be a radiator. Hello. Hey, what did you figure out anything on the truck today?
No. Damn weird thing. I took it all apart.
Yeah.
Actually, I just took the shroud off.
Yeah.
And it stopped leaking.
Are you serious?
It's still leaking, but because I should have drove it around to build up some pressure.
Oh.
So it's a really small, slow leak.
Well, let's just keep cooling in it till we can figure it out.
I had to put more in it.
Well, let's at least make an appointment with Tom and let him look at it before we kill it.
Well, it's not going to kill anything as long as it's staying cool.
All right. Do you have some coolant in the truck?
I just used the last of it.
All right, we need to put one in there.
The coolant that I'm using, I read the instructions on it, and it's half and half. So now, if I add any more, I'll add water up until it's not more.
Okay. All right, I'll let you go. I'm about to end my live stream. We were talking about it, and I wanted to know what you figured out.
Oh, okay.
All right, bye. So he said he went out to look at it, and it stopped leaking. He couldn't find the leak. He took the shroud off. He was looking at it. What he said, he probably should have drove it around first to build up some pressure. So it's a very slow leak. It was low on coolant. Put more in it. He said, so for right now, we're just going to keep coolant in the truck. If it starts to run hot, we're just going to top off the coolant till we can get it over and get it diagnosed at the mechanic. So because we've blown so many engines in our lifetime, I'm very sensitive about worrying about these engines. So that's the only thing about not wanting to buy a new car is this kind of stuff. But the amount of money we've put in his vehicle over time, the amount of money we put in because we had to put a new transmission in mine too. It still has been way less than $28,000, way less than buying another car, and another car that might have issues. You just don't know. I just don't trust used car dealers because we bought a used car for my son, and it was a Honda Accord. It was old. Now, it had we had to replace the head gaskets right after we bought it, and the steering pump needed replaced. And then, so we got the extended warranty. I kid you not, 30 days after we bought it, the transmission went out. And it upped the payment $100 a month from $200 to $300 to get the extended warranty. It paid for itself because it paid for that transmission, which was around $3,000 or $4,000. And the actual in extended warranty was like $2,500 or $2,000. So always get the extended warranty, because I actually got that on the Suburban, even though it was old when I bought it. I was able to get an extended warranty, and it paid for itself because the rear air conditioner needed fixed, some electrical stuff needed fixed, and it covered it. Always get the extended warranty and gap insurance, because that's what happened to me in 1988 when I had that accident. There was no gap insurance back then. So it paid the other insurance paid the $6,000 on my car, because it was definitely, I had 7 witnesses, including an off-duty cop, that this guy ran the red light and T-boned me. So his insurance only paid what they thought my car was worth, and I still owed $700. I was 19, couldn't work, couldn't make the payments, ruined my credit at 19. So wish they'd have had gap insurance back then. So always get that too. On my new channel, if you don't know, I started a new channel called Miss Kim's World that I'm going to do more all my non-Scientology stuff. Once I get the subscribers to go live on it, I'm going to start going live over there for like doing stuff like this. But I'll probably stream it on this channel too for people that don't know about it. And so I'm going to do life hacks, fibromyalgia, just everything that I've learned in my life. I want to, I love teaching. You can tell when I'm out there. I love to teach. I love to help people out with anything that I know. I'm going to go, it says surviving fibromyalgia and how I got my symptoms better and the diet that I changed to and just anything, just whatever I feel like doing. Because I didn't want to do that on this channel. When my parents had their '04 Toyota Sienna, I know what that is. Those are nice. When we had it fixed by a mechanic, they wanted $1,800 to fix it. They didn't want to do it, so we sold it to someone after having it 19 years. That's a long time. I understand. I'm not wanting to fix it. It was probably time for a new car. Now, this truck, we've only had it 7, but it was 6 years when we bought it. But it had 49,000 miles on it. It was in immaculate condition. So this car, it's a 2012. So it's 14 years old. It's older than the Ford F-150 we had. Now, the Ford F-150, we saw it 2 years later. It was still running. But we traded it to a guy to fix the Suburban. Which we, because the overdrive on the transmission had died. We were young and poor back then and couldn't afford to fix every little thing like we can now. So we had to let it go. And then 2 years later, we saw it in the Red Lobster parking lot. And we knew it was ours. Our van had 59,000 miles on it. Wow. Wow. You guys must not drive very far. God, so even though we put the new engine in Tom's truck, right when we were putting the new engine in, we bought this truck. And it wasn't supposed to get driven to Austin or Waco. Well, there was a pulley in the engine. So the mechanic that we used was a friend from church. He was home on leave from a Saudi Arabia job he was doing. He was a helicopter mechanic. Well, he got down to the wire and literally had to leave. And Tom had to put it all back together. The front, the radiator, and all that. So we didn't know this pulley was loose. Tom was afraid that if he drove it very far, the belt would break off. So he ended up driving my truck. My truck had 49,000 miles when I bought it. It has 280,000 miles on it now in just a few years. So eventually we just recently, like a year ago, got that pulley fixed. It has some name. It's not just a pulley. It's got this. And Tom tried. He bought 2 or 3 of it online. It was always the wrong thing. Finally found, and the right one was running $600. Well, he finally found the right one for half of that, and he bought it, took it to Tom, finally fixed it, and now he can drive it to work, which was always the plan because it's a smaller vehicle. It gets better gas mileage. My poor truck has been through it. It's so dirty. He never cleaned it. I've got to get, so that's why we were taking his car when we carpooled. It gets better gas mileage. And he has this whole setup because he's in security at night. And he has this whole setup in the back of his truck, his bags, all the stuff he needs. It's a lot. He has a big first aid backpack because he's a combat vet and in case something happens. And then he didn't have a cover for the back. It's an SUV. You can see into the back. So he got a black and white American flag and he Velcroed it to the back of the hatch. And so when he opens the hatch, the flag goes up too, so he can get to his stuff. But when he closes it, it's covered up. It's really genius, actually. So he doesn't like to take my truck because he has to move a lot of stuff. I don't. I have one bag and my cooler that I bring in anyway. So because it's so hot out or cold outside, mostly hot. I have things in my work bag I don't want to sit in the truck, like things that have adhesive that the Texas sun will kill. You can't leave anything outside. If something goes out on our porch to dry, a rug or something, and it doesn't come back for a week, it's ruined. So I get upset when I go, if you take that outside, it's gone. You'll forget to bring it in. Anything plastic, it deteriorates here. It's so hot. It's ridiculous. Oop, so I keep hitting the desk. Sorry about that, guys. So, but yeah, never buy the first year model. And I would recommend buying a car that's 1 to 2 years old. So a lot of times you can get a leased vehicle that somebody leased for 2 years. There's a cap on the mileage that they can do. That's the only thing I can think about this truck. It was either somebody's like that didn't work, or it was a leased vehicle, because it just had it's a base model. It's not one of the best models. But the only thing we found out is the radio doesn't work. It wants to flip back and forth. So I'm not able to, it has an auxiliary. I'm not able to plug like my phone into it. So I want to get a new radio because I have a dash cam with a screen that I can do Android Play or whatever it's called, Android Auto, and put my maps and stuff on. But I haven't been doing that because there's no speaker. So I still use my phone. But I got a dash cam because doing all this driving to Austin and Waco, these people are crazy. Crazy what these people do. It's, oh my gosh, jumping in front of me all the time. So that's one of the reasons in Texas I won't have a small car, because there's so many trucks. When we went to Ohio for a trip one time, we were just driving down the freeway, and I was like, something didn't feel right. And I'm looking around. There's no pickup trucks. Columbus, Ohio, on the outer belt. And I'm like, there's a truck over there. There's a truck back there. Here, it's truck, car, car. Everybody has pickup trucks here. So when I see somebody in a tiny car, I'm like, those little smart cars, there's somebody around here that has one. Them little tiny cars that's 2-seater, and that's it. I would not have that here in Texas, because holy crap. 3 years old, we bought it. Was it new when you bought that? Or did you get that one used too? I like the RAV4s. But yeah, I have a mechanic that I follow, and he talks about the worst cars to have and the best cars to have. And he's like, Toyotas are the best. He's like, I know the worst ones was what's that one everybody that Devin has wanted? Tahoe. The Tahoes, the Range Rovers, those used. Okay, yeah, smart. There was like 5 vehicles he wouldn't buy, and he's like, Toyota he would. Although, and he said Honda, which is really some Nissan, or somebody bought it out or something. I don't know how that stuff works. But my Honda Element, I loved it, but it had an engine. It had some sort of glitch that I could never recreate at the mechanic. I had it for 4 years. We traded it in on the Nitro, because we keep cars till we pay them off and they die all the time. Because we had paid off our Hyundai Excel and then immediately traded it in on the truck. But we almost never trade in. We keep cars till they die. We pay them off. We keep them till they die, till we can't fix it anymore. So as long as we can keep these vehicles fixed, we're not buying anything new, even used new. I don't want to. So I just hope we don't have to do a new engine. I hope all he needs is like a radiator. Fingers crossed. Because this was a used engine we got on eBay for $500. It was actually, we couldn't find nitro engines, but the Pacifica had the same 4.0 engine. So we got that, and he looked at it, and you get the basic, just the engine, and you have to put all the stuff on it. All the stuff we put on it was new. So I don't think it's going to be the engine. I think it's probably the same thing that happened with my truck. Probably cracked in all this freezing that it's not used to. Because it got down to 9 degrees. I was at work, walking outside, and the only reason I could do my patrol is Tom had these ice spikes we attached to our shoes, or else I wouldn't have went outside. And I was doing the perimeter. Every hour you have. I didn't do it every hour. I did it twice that night. Which I'm glad I did, because I realized somebody had run into one of our gates. I went back and looked on the camera. He just slid real slow. He was going slow, but it kind of goes like this. and he slid down, and the corner of his truck hit our fence. And it was the only thing holding it on. It had pulled it out of the rollers, and it's a big steel gate. It was on hanging by the lock. I was like, so I was panicking because I was like, holy crap, I hope I wasn't sitting in front of the cameras when this happened and I didn't see it. Nope, I was on patrol inside the facility when it happened, so I didn't see it. Mazda. I know that Mazda we got it for $500. She could have got more for that car. But she found a different car, a Honda Accord that she wanted to get at the time, and she let it. We actually bought it for my son when he was in high school, but he never did drive it. He took forever to get his license, and I did the self-taught. He just, I don't know what his deal was, and then he went in the Navy. So we just kept it. Oh my God, that thing got 40 miles to the gallon. And my caretaker mine was a 95. She had a 96. It was a little higher model. She would take it to the mechanic. They would offer her all kinds of money to buy it. They wanted that car. And she's like, nope. She's like, it is cheaper to fix it. And it's a great car. And she would not sell it. I was so mad when ours got wrecked. Oh my gosh. Every time we've had a good used car like that was real cheap, my son wrecked, crap. It was a Ford. It was a smaller SUV. I can't remember. It was a long time ago. He even wrecked my Mustang. He was home on leave, and he curbed the side of my tire real hard. Never told me. I had to find out when I went out to drive it. He's wrecked almost every car. And then he's the one that lost us our insurance because he was driving our third car and gotten like 3 different fender benders in a year. I'm like, dude. And then I'm on the phone with him in the car and he curbed it. And I was like, turning. I said, Chris, I said, you need to just not ever be on the phone when you're driving. You need to concentrate. So, I don't know if I told you guys, because I told you I lost my State Farm insurance because of that, because we had the tree fall on the truck and the camper. We had hail damage. We had his fender benders. And then hail all in 1 year. And they were like, nope, we're dropping you. Get your own insurance. Well, that was like in October. Well, I was in there for our life insurance last couple weeks ago. And he's like, well, we've changed. Oh, and we had a new agent in the area. So I went to him and he's like, well, we've changed the way we do things. Let's see if we can get you back on State Farm. Yes. We got back on State Farm, but we did not put that car in it. We told him, it's yours. Get insurance on it. We're done. So, so I was just happy we got back with State Farm again, because we went with Geico and they don't even have an office in the area. We just did it online. And you know what? They did us dirty. They did us dirty. So when we got the insurance online in October, I always get full coverage, rental car, uninsured motorist. I always get the lowest deductible, and we get higher than minimum on the liability. And we did all that. It gave us our payment. It was kind of high, but when I went into State Farm, he brought me up just to see what I had, and he can look at it. He goes, you just have liability. I'm like, what? So somewhere after we got insurance, they dropped us to liability. They may have sent us a letter. I don't remember getting anything in the mail. But I was like, yeah, I don't want to be. I was like, so I checked, because he's like, this is 95% right usually. So I went online and I checked. They had moved us to liability. I was like, I was so upset. And I just don't understand. I don't understand how they can just do that. So we got back with State Farm, because we don't have accidents. My son did it. Oh, matter of fact, he didn't call me for like 2 months. He called his dad. He didn't call me because he knew I was mad. I am like fanatical about insurance. Fanatical. There was one time we bought him a car for $1 from a friend. Oh, it was an old car. And we had to move it because we live in the city limits. And because we couldn't get it registered, we got a ticket. So all we were doing is moving it from our house to a friend's house out in the country that was going to let us store it there. And it wasn't registered or inspected, but I got insurance on it. And you know what happened? We got stopped. And because the insurance ticket is worse because it's really expensive. It's like $400 just for the no insurance ticket. At least it was a long time ago. It might be more. He stopped us. I said, yep, I got insurance. I said, we're just moving it. He didn't give me a ticket because I had the insurance, even though it was unregistered. I said, look, we're just moving it. I even got insurance just to move it. And then I dropped it. So he knew I was upset about that. So, matter of fact, we got I don't know if Tom talked to him yet, but he talked to the neighbor about feeding the dogs while we're in Korea. But my son is in between schools right now. The school he was in was doing him dirty. They're one of those chain schools that just want your GI Bill money, and they weren't teaching him what he needed to learn. There was this other smaller school that he wanted to go to originally, but it was in the middle of nowhere, and he didn't have an apartment yet. So he didn't go there. Well, he's going to switch from the other school to this school, but he's in between right now. So he's just living on his disability right now. And so we're going to have him come here and just stay and take care of the dogs. So she doesn't, because the only way she can do it, because she's a little antsy around our big pit bull. What she does is we have a doggy door and she feeds them over the fence. Their bowls are out there at the fence and she'll come over and feed them, which is fine as long as it doesn't rain. But if we can have him stay, it would be a lot better. So we got to talk to him about doing that. So, because he's up in Dallas. He comes down every once in a while to see his son. He says he's really depressed up there because he was getting hit down when he lived here. He got his son every weekend. I think he's 8 now. And now he doesn't get to see him once or twice a month, maybe, if he's lucky, because he has to drive all the way down here from Dallas. So, and he can't really afford the gas. So, anyway, first world problems. Now you know my whole life. You guys are really cool, though. I don't have anybody else to talk to, y'all, except you guys. I talk to the dogs. Tom's usually asleep. So I really like doing it. This is really cool. It's like just having a 5-6-way phone call. I really appreciate you listening to me ramble. But I try to impart things that I learn the hard way so that other people don't have to go through things the hard way. I wish I could, my kids drive me crazy because they won't call me until they've already made the wrong decision and it's a disaster. And I'm like, $1 is a little over 1440 Korean won. Oh yeah, I got to figure that out too. Oh, I forgot. Yep, I'll put that on the list. I did find out the best place to do the exchange is at the airport or a bank there, but you can use your card. I did find that out. The difference between Korea and Japan, what's weird in Japan is still a cash society. They do a lot of stuff still in cash. But they have this card you can top up to use on like the trains and the buses and the convenience stores and stuff. They'll take that. So it's weird. But Korea, they said you can use your card just about anywhere. So I don't know if that's a good rate or not. Well, let me see how much something costs in won. Let's see. How many won is a bowl of ramen in Korea?
A cup of instant ramen in South Korea usually costs between 700 and 2,200 won. A full cooked bowl at a restaurant typically ranges from 7,000 to 10,000 won.
5 to 8 USD. That's not bad. Well, not bad at all. So that sounds about right. 14 to $1. I'll keep that in mind. Cool. I'll just probably have to use an exchange thing just to look at stuff. So, because I want to get everybody little gifts too while I'm there, my coworkers and the kids and stuff. So I want to bring. So matter of fact, I need to order my luggage set tonight. We don't have a good luggage set. It's really old, and it's not hard. It's soft. So I'm getting like a 3-piece luggage set. Really good price. I found Walmart. Walmart had a better price than Amazon did. And I want to have. We don't even need that much. Me and my husband. But I want to have some extra space to bring stuff back. So probably one of those will be empty because they have a small, medium, and a large, a carry-on and 2. We can check 4 bags and have 2 carry-ons and 2 personal with our tickets. But we don't need that much. We're only going to be there. Let's see. We leave on the 18th. We arrive on the 19th, 20th, 21st, 22nd. We leave on the 23rd. So 5 days, 6 days, 5 nights. So, yeah, we could have done that with 2 carry-ons, but I want to have some extra space for doodads. I know I'm going to buy the doodads because I don't know if I'll ever get to go overseas again. So, I really still want to go to, when I go to Japan, I want to go for like an extended stay for like 6 months and get like an apartment. You can get an apartment not in Tokyo for like $400 or $500 a month. And that's so way cheaper than a hotel, right? And do like an extended stay or something. It's just a thought. I'll probably never actually do it, but I don't think Tom wants to do it. But can't do anything while we're still working, so but this will be only the second vacation we've ever taken. Every time he got leave before, we would go home. And so we went to South Padre Island in 2013. It was amazing. And that was it. That was our first vacation. So this is our second fun trip. Oh, I'm excited and stressed. But because when I get excited, my fibro wigs out. When I went to Tampa for the Lisa McPherson Memorial, I was fine till we parked at the airport. I get out of the car and my legs gave out. And I shook like this the whole time. A lot of times, if I'm moving and I'm tense, you can't see it. I was like that the whole weekend. And it took a couple of months for my symptoms to settle down. So, and that happened 2 trips. That happened when I went to Tampa, and I forget where I went before that. Somewhere, I don't remember. It was Vegas or California, and same thing happened. So even though I didn't think I was stressed, my body said different. So luckily, I asked for a wheelchair at the airport, and so they didn't have that option when I got this ticket. So I'm glad I did, because getting into the wheelchair, my leg gave out again, and my husband caught me. So even though I'm not using a cane now and I look okay, see, it affects my vocal cords too. I'm doing good at work because I don't get stressed. I'm by myself. I don't really have too much problem with it. But if something really excites me or I'm really stressed, then things happen. So I still have to be careful that I never know when or where it's going to raise its ugly head and mess with me. But I'm not complaining, because compared to the first few years, I can handle it now. I got more people the later it gets. I always start out with just a few, and if I say I'm about ready to go, I start getting more people in. So I'll stick around for a few minutes. Anybody new that came in, tell me what state you're in. I'm just curious. I like to know where everybody's from. We always talk weather because I'm mad because like a few days after it was 9 degrees here, it got to 75, and then the other day it got to 83, and now we're back down again. I had to turn on the space heater in here because I don't want to run the whole house. It's ridiculous. What is the weather right now? Because when we go to work, I have to look at the weather. Why? Because I work 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. I have gone to work. Hey, Seaglin, Michigan. Yeah, I'm from Ohio. I've been to Mackinac Island. That was cool. And Lake Michigan. Oh, maybe I forget. It's 50. So anyway, I went to work at 6 p.m. It was 81 degrees. When I got off at 6 a.m., it was 39 degrees. No joke. That is the difference you can have here in Texas between one day and another. That was 12 hours. In 12 hours. So it's going to be, we're in the 50s, which is nice. Because the other day I was wearing gloves and earmuffs. It was 44 degrees at night. That's the thing. At night, it's always colder, of course. No. Oh, here we go. Oh, see? Sunday night, while I'm at work, it's going to be 33 degrees. Which is probably feels like 31. Ugh. And Saturday night, 37. One of those nights. And windy. That's always fun. And Wednesday, it's going to be 85. See what I mean? This is weird. It's just weird. Texas is weird. And the wind. There's this guy that I watch. He's an Englishman in Texas. And I found out he lives near SpaceX, which is just north of here. Pretty close to Waco. So I was like, now I know where he lives. He lives in the country. But he's always like, he said, I never knew wind until I got to Texas. You don't know what wind is until you're in Texas. I used to ride a motorcycle. I can't now that I'm sick. And I never really went very far. I never really went on any long trips. I would just go ride for an hour or so and de-stress. Because my husband didn't ride. So the only couple long rides I went on was with my girl riding group. And so I would just ride around the lake. And the wind would try to knock me over. I'm not joking. It freaked me out. I thought I was going to just be knocked over. The colder, weirder weather seems to be moving further and further south. Yes, it is in the last few years. It is. It really is. And it's getting hotter more north. Yeah. You guys are getting heat up there that we didn't use. I grew up in Ohio without an air conditioner. And now you have to have one. Of course, that was the 70s and 80s. I left in 90. So I only went back in winter a couple times because we couldn't go in winter because if Tom went and we got snowed in, he would be AWOL coming back from leave. So we went one time in winter and there was a blizzard, but we were okay. And then the other time I went, he was gone overseas somewhere. And I went with the kids and got stuck in Nashville because it iced over. That was in the Ford F-150. So, anyway, it got to 14 degrees and I got deathly ill. In bed, tonsils swollen, couldn't talk for days. Thank God the family took care of my kids. So, yeah, I know we have a rivalry with Michigan, but I'm always lighthearted about it. I met Woody Hayes on Woody Hayes Day in high school because my ROTC unit did his color guard. And boy, that man was hateful. He started that hatefulness with Michigan. I'm not like that. Because I'm not into the NFL that much, but I'm into my Buckeyes. I like to watch my college ball. And you know, what's funny is our team can lose all year long. If they beat Michigan, they're golden. They're fine. Everybody loves them. I'm serious. I just remember growing up, it was all about the Michigan game. I missed it this year. I didn't get to watch it. I think I was I think I was asleep because I work nights on the weekends. So I missed it. So. Anybody else? We got Michigan, California, Texas, Iowa, if Iowa's still here. But have you guys ever heard, and it was weird, I found out about this recently, the Circleville letters, these letters that were going to people's houses in Circleville in like the 70s, trying to out people and get people angry at each other. I lived in Circleville and didn't even know about it. If you don't know about it, look it up. It is a weird, I think Mr. Ballin even did it because somebody almost got killed. Maybe, you know what? Maybe I'll do that story on my other channel. Because that was weird. I'm surprised I didn't hear about it when I lived there. And I had other family members that lived there too. It was a small town when I lived there. But it's probably bigger now. It's supposed to be the pumpkin capital of the world. But I don't know. I think there's another place that says the same thing. So they have a big pumpkin festival there and stuff. But yeah, the weather is weird. But I will tell you this. I am about the environment. I really am. But I'm not going to go overboard with it. You know, I'll do what I can. But I had a caretaker when I first got sick. And her husband was a professor at the college here. And he's a geology professor. And he explained, as a geologist, that the warming temperatures was going to happen whether we were here or not. The reason being, we're coming out of an ice age. And then there was another mini ice age about 12,000 years ago, 10 to 12. I can't remember the exact amount. So, yes, we're hurting the earth in a lot of ways, but the temperatures were going to rise anyway. So that's why when they go to climate change, it makes more sense because the climate was going to change. Now, this weird weather, the more I find out about cloud seeding and that we've been doing it since the 70s and nobody tells us, that weirds me out that our government is doing weird crap like that. How many times have we watched a movie where they mess with the weather and make it worse? Seems like they might have. That's what I think. I don't trust, 15, 20 years ago when I didn't really pay much attention, I would watch these conspiracy movies, like where the government is doing this horrible stuff and they get outed or something. I'm like, I used to think our government would never do that. Yeah, they do. They do whatever they want. All right, y'all. People are dropping off, so I'm going to go. Y'all have a good week. If I don't see you in the chats, I'm hoping next weekend I'll be back in Austin next Friday. And I'm going to try, say this every week, get to the org during the day. Do what I'm supposed to be doing on here. So y'all have a good week. Good night.